Alright, now, today we are having to solve one of the equations for a given variable. So we want to looking at the first example, we want to find an equation that maybe doesn't have a coefficient, that doesn't have a number in front of the variable. If I'm looking at this one might be a good place to start with and solve for x. So that means I need to get x by itself. That means negative 2y needs to move. So we add 2y to both sides. And that leaves me with x equals 2y plus 1. Or 1 plus 2y, it doesn't matter. So now, since this says x equals this, we can replace x over here with 2y plus 1. So I have 3 times 2y plus 1, bringing the rest of the equation down. And we're going to solve. 3 times 2y is 6y. 3 times 1 is plus 3. And I'm bringing everything else down. Now we combine like terms. 6y minus 6y is 0. So that leaves me with 3 equals 3. 3 does equal 3, so this is an infinite solutions or all real numbers. Alright, looking at example 2, we have x minus 6y equals 2 and negative 3x plus 5y equals 7. Again, I want to look for a variable that might not have a coefficient to start off with. So looking here, this one doesn't have a variable, so we're going to start off here, solving for x. So I'm going to add 6y to both sides to move the entire thing, and that gives me x equals 6y plus 2. And you can solve for x or y, it's just a matter of what you think is most efficient. Since this says x equals 6y minus 2, we're going to replace the x over here with 6y minus 2. So I have negative 3 times 6y plus 2, and I'm writing the rest of the equation down. Negative 3 times 6y is negative 18y. Negative 3 times positive 2 is negative 6. And I'm bringing down my plus 5y equals 7. Combine our like terms. Negative 18y and positive 5y are like terms because they both have a y. That gives me negative 13y minus 6 equals 7. Add 6 to both sides. Negative 13y equals 13. Divide both sides by negative 13, and we have a y value of negative 1. Since this says y is negative 1, we're going to replace that with the y here. X equals 6y plus 2. So the y is being replaced with negative 1, so we have 6 times negative 1 plus 2. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6, and negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. So my solution is negative 4 comma negative 1. Alright, last example. We're going to do example 4. Negative 2x minus y equals 4 and 6x minus 4y equals 2. Alright, so let's say we'll start with this equation. We'll solve for y this time because that variable is by itself. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides, and that's going to leave me with negative y equals 2x plus 4. Divide everything by negative 1. This one is just like putting it in slope-intercept form. Negative 2x minus 4. So we're going to take this and replace it for the y over here. 6x minus 4 times negative 2x minus 4 equals 2. Now we distribute. 6x comes down. Negative 4 times negative 2x is positive 8x. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16 equals 2. Combine our like terms, 6x and 8x gives me 14x plus 16 equals 2. Subtract 16 from both sides, that gives me 14x equals negative 14. Divide both sides by 14, and we have x equals negative 1. Since x equals negative 1, we're going to replace that over here. We have y equals negative 2x minus 4. So since this says x equals negative 1, we are replacing the x with negative 1 in our other equation. Negative 2 times negative 1 is 2, and 2 minus 4 is negative 2. So that is negative 1 comma negative 2.